Roswitha straddled Leon's body and gently twisted her waist. She thoroughly enjoyed his massage, feeling her body gradually relax and soften. A warm blush spread across her cheeks from his touch. Lifting her head, she let out a contented sigh and wrapped her arms tightly around Leon's head, deepening her sense of happiness. Leon gently embraced Rosita's body and slowly guided her down onto the bed. The frequent contact with her soft form caused his own cheeks to flush even more, leaving him feeling shy and self-conscious. After finishing the massage as requested, he lifted his head and rested his chin on her elastic chest. With his eyebrows lowered, he looked up at her with a pleading expression. I have completed my homework. Is this okay?" Upon hearing Leon's words, Roswitha let out a soft chuckle. She narrowed her eyes and flashed a mischievous smile. Raising a hand to her cheek, she appeared lost in the lingering sensation of his touch. In her heart, she felt that Leon's massage hadn't been enough to satisfy her desires. She said to him, "Just now was just some pre-class exercises. Your real homework hasn't been submitted yet." Roswitha pressed her body firmly against Leon's, reaching out to gently stroke his chest a few times. Her hand then slowly moved downward, exploring other parts of his body with delicate intent. Upon hearing Roswitha's words, Leon was momentarily stunned. He hadn't expected that she was unsatisfied with what had already happened and intended to take things even further. He stared at her blankly and said, Is this okay too?" Roswitha gently rested her hand on Leon's chest, gazing at him with tender eyes. Her twin peaks pressed and brushed against him, silently urging him forward. Leon lifted his head to watch her approach slowly, and as her teasing grew more intense, he felt himself gradually losing control. He silently said in his heart, "Damn it. I knew she wouldn't let me go easily." He found himself more and more drawn to her and the atmosphere they created. At that moment, a sentence flashed through his mind. The great dragon-slaying hero Leon is once again defeated by the she-dragon. In such an ambiguous atmosphere, a dragon mark slowly appeared on Leon's chest. It kept flashing with purple light, as if reflecting Leon's current mood. Leon lowered his head to look at the dragon mark and thought to himself, "Is it because of the dragon mark? My mouth is getting drier and drier." At that moment, Leon felt something was wrong with his body. He opened his mouth and began panting. He seemed to want to relieve his dry mouth by breathing fresh air, but it didn't help. The more he breathed, the drier his mouth felt. His body also started to feel restless, moving uncontrollably. This physical reaction stirred his desire, making Leon increasingly eager to be close to Roswitha. He sat up from the bed and slowly lunged toward her. Roswitha did not reject his advance. On the contrary, she reached out her hands and gently cradled his head, guiding him back onto the bed. The soft mattress welcomed the two as they sought to entwine with each other. Leon pressed Roswitha beneath him, their bodies flushed together. He propped himself up with one hand to avoid sinking too deeply into her embrace. Roswitha placed one hand on Leon's head, stroking him gently, while her other arm wrapped around his waist, pulling him closer. Leon rested his head on Roswitha's neck and took a deep breath. Her scent sent waves of excitement through his body. He then gently kissed her neck and the surrounding skin. How could Roswitha resist such stimulation? The blush on her face deepened. She lifted her neck and let out a contented sigh. Leon, you're a bad boy. Miss Melchi, isn't this what you wanted?" Leon closed his eyes, reached out, and gently cupped Roswitha's head, deepening the intensity of his kisses. Roswitha could clearly hear the sound of his kisses in her ears, which made her body grow increasingly excited. She couldn't resist Leon's advances. It felt as if her body was slipping beyond her control. Closing her eyes, she surrendered to the wave of excitement spreading through her. She twisted her body slightly, feeling the rising heat between them. Her curves trembled gently with the movement. She urged Leon to quicken his pace, hoping to prolong the pleasurable sensation. "That's right. Hurry up." Leon didn't answer her. He pressed tightly against her body, reducing the distance between them to nothing. He tightly grasped her hand, interlacing his fingers with hers. Rosita's body felt soft and comfortable, as if it were about to melt into the bed. She felt like she had entered heaven. She let out a moan of comfort. Ah, their bodies overlapped, sharing each other's warmth and breath. After being carried by Roswitha for a while, Leon finally managed to rest. At that moment, his body felt utterly exhausted. He leaned back against the bed, closed his eyes, and let out a slow sigh. Silently, he stared at the ceiling, lost in thought. His clothes had been tossed onto the floor. Roswitha lay beside him with her eyes closed, resting. Having removed all her clothes as well, she simply covered herself with a blanket. Seeing that Roswitha was ready to rest, Leon picked up the pajamas that had fallen under the bed and put them on. While dressing, he asked Roswitha in a tired voice, "Miss Melchi, my homework has been submitted. Can we finish class now?" He had been tormented by Roswitha for some time and was now both physically and mentally exhausted. He didn't want to continue what had just happened. He planned to leave her room and return to his own to sleep. Just as Leon was putting on his pajamas and preparing to leave, Roswitha reached out and grabbed his sleeve, stopping him. Leon furrowed his brow and looked down at her hand, a growing sense of unease stirring in his heart. Roswitha opened her eyes and stretched comfortably. Unlike Leon, she didn't seem tired at all. She smiled mischievously and revealed her next plan. "The homework you submitted was only for one subject. There are still 6 subjects left." She gently twisted her body, revealing her snow-white curves and thighs. The purple blanket faintly outlined her slender figure. She seemed to be tempting Leon to continue the same kind of homework with her. Upon hearing her words, Leon was stunned once again. He hadn't expected her to pile on even more homework for him. He stared blankly at Roswitha lying in bed, unable to find any words to protest. "Ah!" Leon let out a mournful wail. His cry echoed through the Silver Dragon Castle, piercing the dazzling starry sky. Tonight, his body was no longer his own, but a hollow shell. He could already imagine that tonight would be another sleepless night.